Hello students, welcome to this third theory session of physical and chemical changes. In the previous session we studied about the classification of chemical substances and also about the elements. Now in this session we will be studying about compounds and mixtures. Right? So let's start our theory session here. Now what do you mean by compounds? Or compound. A compound is a substance that is formed when two or more elements combine chemically. That chemically means a sort of bond is formed between them. A sort of attraction is between them. There should be some force of attraction between them. Say for example, see, you have seen common salt at your home, right? Common salt, that is the salt which your mother uses for cooking food, right? Say salt. Now students, that salt is made up of sodium, which is an element, and chlorine, right? So there is an atom. Atom is again what? It's the smallest entity of sodium and plus an atom of chlorine. Now these will make up what? Sodium chloride. Now this is what is a compound. Right? Now it cannot happen that if you're bringing an atom of sodium, an atom of chlorine, and they will just be together. Is it possible? So you can't be a friend with any student of your class. You should have to have some connection with it. Some connection, like you must have liking for him or her. Right? So your friends, if there are say 36 or 30 students in your class, you're not friends with all of them. You might be having friendship with say 2 or 3 or maximum 5, and out of them your best friend would be one only. So it means you like him, right? You are connected to him, right? Likewise, there is this sodium. Sodium combines with chlorine. So there is some force of attraction between sodium and chlorine, and then only it is forming a compound, that is salt. So there has to be some force of attraction between atoms of two elements to form a compound. Right? Like we can't be friends with anyone. There is one person who is the best friend of yours or best friend of mine. So I'm having some connection with him. I'm having say my likings are our likings are the same, and so on and so forth. There are many more things. So likewise, the sodium and chlorine, there is a force of attraction between the atom of sodium and atom of chlorine. That is why it is forming sodium chloride, a compound. Likewise, water, say hydrogen and oxygen, they make up water. So, in this case, the force of attraction means they are chemically linked. Right? So, how a compound is formed? That's what is said here. A compound is a substance that is formed when two or more elements combine chemically. There is some sort of force of attraction between them. So when they are combined chemically. Now the smallest particle of a compound is a molecule, which shows all the properties of that compound. Say I had taken the example of sodium chloride here, the table salt, right? Now the smallest entity of that particular table salt will be this molecule, that is sodium chloride. Not the sodium atom and chlorine. The smallest particle of the table salt, or the smallest of salt will be what? A molecule. A molecule of sodium chloride. Right? And what will be the smallest entity of sodium chloride molecule? Sodium atom and chlorine atom or chlorine atom. Right? So, however, the smallest particle of a compound is a molecule which shows all the properties of that compound. Salt has got some specific properties, likewise sugar has got some specific properties. Salt is salty in nature, sugar is sweet in nature. Now, that particular salty or the sweet nature is the property of its one molecule. Now, millions of those molecules, they combine and form the compound. Right? This is like the smallest particle of a compound is a molecule. However, the properties of a compound are entirely different from that of its constituent elements. See, if I had taken the example of sodium chloride here, sodium has got some set of properties. Chlorine is also got some set of properties, but they both combine and they form sodium chloride, which has got some different properties. Like say sodium is a metal here. Chlorine is a non-metal. When they combine, they are forming a compound that is called as sodium chloride. So it doesn't mean that we are eating metal and we are eating a non-metal. It's a compound we are eating. We are eating sodium chloride, which has got different set of properties. Now you can't eat sodium. If we just drop a sodium pellet in the sink, which is having water, it catches fire. Right? Chlorine is gas in nature. It is gaseous in nature. Sodium is solid in nature. But does sodium chloride catch fire when you drop it in the sink? No. Is it in gaseous state? No. So here what is the thing, students? Sodium is a solid. I'm so sorry. I'll write it here, that's better. Sodium is what? It is a solid. Right? It catches fire when comes in contact with water. Chlorine is what? It is a gas. Right? But sodium chloride it is what? It is solid. Does it catch fire? No. Is it a gas? No. Now it has got the different properties right? So a compound has different properties or the entirely different properties from its constituent elements. Remember that. Here is again an example. When hydrogen combines with oxygen, both of which are gases, water is formed, which is a liquid. See, when hydrogen, what is water made up of? Water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. Right? Say, hydrogen is what? Hydrogen is a non-metal and is a gas. Say there is hydrogen gas. It combines with, it is in the gaseous state. It combines with oxygen. It is again a non-metal and is a gas. And it is heated to a high temperature and forms water molecule. Now these both are gases. Water is what? Liquid. It's not only one molecule will be formed. So water, which is formed after the combination of hydrogen and oxygen, is what? Is liquid in nature. Whereas hydrogen and oxygen are gaseous in nature, or they are gas. Right? So the product which is formed, or the compound, has different properties from its constituent elements. Now do you know, there are over 114 known elements, out of which 92 occur naturally on Earth. So 92 elements are occurring naturally on the Earth. The remaining elements have been synthesized artificially by the scientists. You must have heard about uranium. Uranium exists in Earth, but the elements, the higher elements, they are synthesized by the scientists, or the chemists, you can say. So how many known elements are there? How many elements are known? They are 114 elements which are known, and out of which how many occur in the earth crust? That is the 92 elements, not the earth crust, you can say on earth. Right? Rest of the elements are synthesized artificially. Okay? Now let's take up the other thing, that is mixtures. Now what are mixtures? Mixtures consist of two or more substances simply mixed together but not chemically combined. So they are just mixed. They are not chemically combined. Say if you mix sodium chloride with water, just the table salt with water, what you will get? You'll get a clear solution. Right? But from that solution, salt can be separated and water can be separated. The properties of this clear solution depends on the properties of salt and water. It is salty due to the presence of salt, that is sodium chloride, and it has water also. So this salt and water are not combined chemically. Like sodium and chloride, they combined chemically to form what? To form the salt. Say sodium combined chemically with chlorine, that is, there was some force of attraction between them, and they formed sodium. They form, you can say, sodium chloride. That is the salt. Now this salt has got altogether different properties from sodium and chlorine. But if the salt is mixed with water, it is forming a solution. Now that solution has the properties of both the salt and the water. It doesn't have a different set of properties. Okay, so what can be said? That a compound is formed when two elements or the atoms of two elements chemically combine, and a compound has got the properties different from that of the constituent particles. Whereas mixture, how is a mixture formed? A mixture is formed when two compounds are simply mixed, and a mixture has the property of its constituents. Right? A mixture can be separated by physical methods of separation. Physical methods of separation means, I told you that, by sieving, by evaporation, by distillation, by sedimentation. But a compound cannot be separated into its constituents by what? By physical methods of separation. Right? So this is the basic difference between the mixture and the compound. Do remember this, students. This is a very basic thing and you should know about this. Now let's take some examples. See, air is a mixture of various gases such as nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, argon, dust, smoke and many other gases. See, gases here are nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide and water vapor and argon. Right? Smoke is also a type of gas. Now, this air is again a mixture. Now, these gases can be separated from air by the process of distillation. Right? Or there is a one more advanced process, that is fractional distillation. There are different temperatures at which these gases change into their liquid states and they can be separated. Anyways, we are going to study this in details later. Now here is just for your knowledge that air is composed of many more gases or various types of gases. Thus, a mixture has two or more different elements and or compounds physically intermingled. Now there is no chemical reaction between them, right? These are just physically intermingled. They are just mixed. There is no such reaction between them, right? Now there's one more example over here. A mixture of iron and sulfur can be prepared by mixing two components. Likewise, sugar solution can be prepared by dissolving sugar in water. So there are many more type of mixtures which can. See, they can be. I'll give some examples of the mixtures. There it was, say, two examples given. That is the iron. It's iron plus sulfur mixture. Again here, iron is a metal, sulfur is a non-metal. Right? These both are mixed. See, there is a mixture in this of iron and sulfur. Then you must have seen the mixture of, say, chalk and water. See, you can dissolve chalk in water. So this chalk water is also a mixture. Chalk is a solid, water is a liquid. Another example will be clay plus water. I'm giving you so many examples because, say, these entities or these constituents are not reacting with each other. This is just the physical mixture. If you keep the solution of, say, chalk and water for a long time, chalk will get suspended at the bottom. If you keep the mixture of clay and water for a long time, clay will be suspended at the bottom. That is, these two mixtures can be separated by physical method of separation, that is sedimentation. Right? Salt plus water, I have already told you. Now, a mixture of iron plus sand. Now here, say, chalk was a solid or chalk is a solid. Water is liquid. Clay is solid. Water is liquid. Iron is solid. Sand is solid. Likewise, pebbles plus pulses or cereals, these both are solids. Solid, solid. You must have seen your mother separating pebbles from the small stones, you can say, from the pulses, right? Or if you say wash pulses, the pulses, they get settled and the lighter particles which are present as impurities, they float. This is also a mixture. Or there can be a mixture of liquid and liquid, like oil plus water. Just mix few drops of oil in water, or just pour in few drops of oil in water. That also forms a mixture. Oil is insoluble in water. It is not at all soluble. It doesn't dissolve. You can see the droplets of oil over water. But if oil containing water is heated, then what happens? The water, it bursts out. You must have seen sometimes. You can ask your mother what happens that if a small amount of water is present in the oil and you are heating it. Now you don't try to do that. Okay, so that is also a mixture. Then again, smoke. Smoke is a mixture of, what is it? Smoke is a mixture of dust and what? Mixed with air. Now, dust is what? Dust is solid and air is gas. So students, mixture can be of any type. It can be a solid-solid mixture, a solid-liquid mixture, a solid gas mixture. Right? Likewise, the tap water which you are taking, or say the gas mixture. Gas mixture is what? Air. Air contains different types of gases. So these are the mixtures, and in all the mixtures you can see one common property, that the property of the constituents is retained. Mixture has the property of both the constituents, and a mixture can be separated by physical methods of separation. Do remember this, students. I am repeating every time. They can be separated by any method, just mechanical hand picking, or you must have started this hand picking method in your previous class. The filtration, evaporation, sedimentation, decantation, distillation, by any method mixture can be separated. Okay. Now, see here. A mixture retains the properties of its components. That is, in a mixture of iron and sulfur both retain their characteristic properties. That is, iron is attracted by a magnet and sulfur remains as a yellow powder. So if you are taking iron and mixture powder or iron and sulfur powder in a container and bringing a magnet close to it, what will happen? Iron has got a magnetic property, that is, it is attracted by the magnet. Right? So if you are bringing magnet close to it, iron particles will be attracted towards the magnet, and sulfur is yellow in color. So it retains its property. Right? See in this picture over here, these are iron filings, sulfur powder. Now this is a mixture of iron plus sulfur. Now the magnet is attracting iron particles towards it, leaving the sulfur powder behind. So, the separation of sulfur and iron filings. So, a mixture has the properties of its components, can be separated by physical methods of separation. Right? Now, let's just revise these things. We have studied about elements. What are the elements? Elements are the pure substances, and they are composed of one kind of atoms. Right? Atom is what? Atom is the smallest constituent of an element. Then come to Now, the atoms of an element cannot be separated by physical or chemical means. Then comes the compounds. Compounds are made up of atoms of elements. The atoms of elements undergo chemical reaction, or they chemically combine to give what? To give the compound. Again, what is the smallest constituent of a compound or smallest component of a compound? It is a molecule. Right? Now, the constituents or components of a compound cannot be separated by any method, by any physical or chemical method of separation. Right? A compound has a property different from its elements. Say if we took the example of water, it is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen and oxygen are what? Gases. Water is a liquid. You can't separate hydrogen and oxygen from water. Right? Then coming to the mixture. Mixture is what? It is a physical. They combine physically. A mixture has the property of both the components. Right? And the components, they retain their property. A mixture can be separated by physical methods of separation like evaporation, distillation, filtration, sedimentation and decantation. Right? So, this is about the mixture. So students, a chemical substance can be divided into the pure substance and mixture. Pure substance can further be divided into elements and compounds. Elements are further divided into metals and non-metals. So we have studied about the classification of compounds. I hope you have understood this, and these are very basic things of chemistry, students. In the next session, we'll be studying about the chemical symbols, or symbols which are used to represent the elements, the chemical reactions, and also the chemical changes in details. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Thank you, students, for listening patiently, and you just go through your text, whatever text you're following in your school, just go through it and you'll be through with these basic concepts. So thank you once again, and do have a nice time ahead. I hope you have enjoyed this session, and in the next session we'll be studying about symbols for representing chemical elements, or they are also called as chemical symbols. So thank you, students. Thank you for listening patiently, and do have a nice time ahead.